over the last 24 plus hours, there have been 3 fissures that have opened up. We're looking for the next one to see what kind of a trend that might show.
Is there any indication of where that next fissure might be?
No, but the 3 of them are kind of in a line, and so it wouldn't be outrageous to expect the next one to be on that same line, but we can't say where. The 3rd one, as far as I know, is still active, and the overall state of the volcano is that it's still pressurized. We're still getting earthquakes in the area, although it's been reduced since yesterday and the day before. But we feel that the system is still pressurized. The summit is deflating somewhat slowly. Lava Lake is dropping, and so we're just waiting to see what happens next. Well, we have a lot of instruments on the ground. We're sort of prepared for this kind of thing. So we have seismometers and tiltmeters and GPS instruments, and we have an occasional pass of a radar satellite that can tell us how the ground is changing, ground shape is changing. And so we're kind of putting all those tools to use to figure out, for example, where the extent of this intrusion that started up near Makau crater and has moved all the way down to in the vicinity of the Leilani Estates and a little bit farther east, at least. And then we're just sort of monitoring that. The intrusion itself broke a lot of ground. That's what the earthquakes come from. Ground surface changed quite a bit as the dike was passing by each of these instrument sites. And then now that we have surficial manifestations, cracks and lava, gas coming out, we have multiple crews on the ground tracking its behavior, tracking the extent of the fissures themselves, the cracks, and whether they're generating any sort of flows or not. That's the next thing to look for, I guess. And also there's, over the last 24 plus hours, there have been 3 fissures that have opened up. We're looking for the next one to see what kind of a trend that might show. As far as historical perspectives, there's obviously been a lot of activity down in the Lower East Rift Zone. But so far, the one that seems most similar is the 1955 Puna eruption. And that one erupted over several months from several different fissures that expand from expanded over a large area. It started in the center of this area, then it expanded out to a point just west of Highway 130, all the way down to Kapoho Cone. Some of the eruptions out of those fissures were quite small, not unlike this one, but some of them were quite large with high fountaining events that fed lava flows that made it down to the ocean. So, that's about the only thing that we have detailed information about that seems kind of similar at the moment. They didn't start out, the 1955 event didn't start out exactly like this one did. It had a bit of seismicity that ramped up very clearly before the eruption. And this one, the seismicity kind of ramped up as the dike was being moved down rift. But when the eruption started, there wasn't any immediate precursor that lava was going to come up in the fissure. We are seeing changes in the seismicity. Seismicity goes up when lava is coming out, when gas is being emitted, but so far it's not showing signs of that even minutes, well, in an hour or 2 before that happens. While there's just a bit of spatter coming out, there are heavy gas emissions coming out of these fissures, and so it's going to depend on which way the wind blows. But the kind of concentration numbers that I've seen so far have been very high, and I think they're being measured quite close to the fissure, so you would think that it would be dispersed somewhat by the time it gets up to Nanavali. But it'd be good to be on the lookout for such things. It's definitely a part of this event.
Did you guys reposition one of your webcams to face?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, okay.
The one that was a little bit down rift, it actually was set up during the Pahoa response.
Yeah.
and it had pool over the left corner, and so yeah, it was really optimum just to move it over and capture most of Leilani Estates in it. So, for example, when the first fissure opened, which was just a couple hours after the big magnitude 5 earthquake, the first sign of it was these copious steam and gas emissions before any lava came out, and that was visible for quite a ways. So I think that's what you're going to see first in the camera, but it may be followed more quickly by the spattering and such, and sulfur dioxide gas.